Hope you're all additionally caffeinated now. We have some exciting panelists here with us that are going to talk us through different parts of the work that we're doing in what Albert was presenting this morning in regards to the Good Travel Alliance. We're very happy and honored to have 3 of our founding destinations here with us this morning. You can see Alison Berg, who's been working with us as a consultant, working with a couple different destinations, both in the UK and in Jordan. Today she's going to be talking with us about the process and some of the experience-related work that she's been engaging with in Jordan. Victor, who's here as well, will be talking with us today about the work that he's been doing specifically in the Canary Islands and the destination of Lanzarote. And Sofia, who's here with us as well from Ukraine, and she's going to be sharing with us the same work that she's been doing with us in the Good Travel Alliance in the city of Lviv. After these 3 presentations, then we're going to get into the nuts and bolts and talk a little bit more about the processes that we've been using and engaging and the tools in the work of the GTA and the work in which we're engaging with destinations and with providers and others within the destinations. And so this is how we propose to have this particular session. I'm going to invite each one of the different speakers to come up and make their presentation. And please note your questions, hold your questions, because then I will ask all the presenters to come up after Albert, who's going to be our last speaker, to come up on stage for a Q&A session. So with that said, Alison, now that you have returned, I would like to invite you up to share with us your story about the work you're doing, in particular in Jordan. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Darcy. Where's the flicker?
Use these, or would you
Yes.
like a mic?
No, just to turn the... That's the green button.
Yes.
Great. Well, hello everybody. Good morning. I'm here really representing the work that Jordan and particularly the Jordan Tourist Board have been doing over the last, particularly with the Good Travel Alliance over the last year, and that's built on a lot of work that they've done more generally in Jordan about experiences that they've developed for across the country. So we were asked to look at developing the good travel experiences in Jordan. And the first thing that we talked about was what's the process for doing that, and how do we select from the many, many community, particularly experiences, and that Jordan has to offer. And I said Jordan's got I think they've recorded 700 community experiences across the country. The big challenge for them is how do they select the ones that have the best impact. So the Jordan Tourist Board got together with their marketing team and looked at really we came up with a criteria for trying to select the most appropriate of these experiences to put forward to be the first 5 good travel experiences that could be showcased by the Alliance. So we looked for really what showcased Jordan's strengths. We also started looking across the different locations across Jordan. But in the end, it was decided that really to focus on northern Jordan. The south has Aqaba, which is now a bronze award winner as of last night, and I think the first Arabic city to gain that award. So that's been a huge achievement. So we looked in the south. They have Aqaba, they have Petra, they have Wadi Rum. Generally, there's a lot of tourists that focus their trips around that area, so we felt that the north of Jordan was the best place to focus. And then we looked at the potential to be able to cluster these different types of activities and experiences, look for suitable accommodation nearby that might also fit the criteria. Also very importantly was that we felt that because this was going to be an assessment of what these activities and community groups were doing, it needed the management capacity to be able to report and provide evidence at the stage that that was needed, although the initial stage was a self-assessment. Very importantly, they needed to be bookable, easy to book, and to be bookable all year round, which these are, with one exception, which is only bookable and is only available in the summer, which is the heat of the summer, which is their low season, so it was a low season activity. The sources were really from, we looked at different sources that already have these community experiences. There's a website called Travel Jordanian that pulls together experiences from the Meaningful Travel Map, the RSCN Nature Reserves, an adventure website that JTB have, and also from the Green Fins dive operators who've been recently assessed in the Marine Reserve and in Aqaba. So I just want to give you the sort of brief introduction to these 5 different experiences that were selected and that all scored over the required score of 70%. So the first one is in northern Jordan, and it is organized through Barak Destination Social Enterprise, and it's about how can you support and help with a hands-on experience to regenerate the wild native species of za'atar, which you may come across in your cooking. It's absolutely delicious, but the wild species is under threat. So the local community up in the north at Qais is involved in developing this experience whereby they get visitors come along. They work with the local community to make what they call seed bombs or seed balls that tourists can then take on the walks and hikes with them and throw and scatter across their paths. So it's a very innovative, very local experience, and it brings together the deep nature and culture knowledge of local people that they can share. That develops economic opportunities for those local communities, as well as using local materials, local food, local drink, and creating experience out of that conservation effort. The second one, also up in northern Jordan, and is organized by the Royal Society for the Conservation of Nature. They work with the communities there in one of the last natural pine and oak woods in the Middle East, the Deben Nature Reserve. And there visitors can walk through the woods in the shade, in the heat of the summer. They can, throughout the year, and they can there meet with a community of local women who are embroiderers, and then they can work with them, share that experience, doing traditional embroidery or doing embroidery about the local nature and culture. So again, very much empowers women, preserves the nature and the cultural traditions. So Souk Jarrah is based in the old historic part of Amman. This experience is the one that's open during the summer months, which is the low season. So if you're in Amman in the heat and you want something local to do, this is a fantastic experience that has really been organized by the Jabal Amman Residents Association. So the residents themselves run this market. It's an open-air market. It brings together local culture. There's local food, there's performers, there's live music. So it really showcases local talent. As well as handmade goods, jewelry, pottery, textiles, authentic experiences. And it's also accessible for wheelchairs. It's a lively place for families, very inclusive. Another of the northern experiences is Del Nama, where they say every detail tells a story. This is organized by the Princess Tagheed Institute for Development and Training. And it's very much a celebration of the cultural traditions and particularly the food, cultural recipes that they brought together with local people, local women. So it's an amazing restaurant. I've been there. It's it's a beautiful setting up in the north. They have events. They have guided tours that the women run. They rent out rooms. So a very multi-purpose space. But particularly attracting visitors through the restaurant and the food and artisan activities that they do. So again, it's very much about empowering women and bringing visitors to have that connection with the local beauty of the natural environment and the different handicrafts and food. The Jordan Trail starts in the north and it ends in the south. It's a fantastic trail to really explore that hidden Jordan, and it takes you through that journey of history, nature, culture, through the olive groves, through the pine forests, rugged desert, mountain landscapes, down to the dunes and the Red Sea. So it covers 8 regions, 75 towns and villages. There are homestays where you can stay. There are local guides that you can take with you or that work with the local tour operators. And there are amazing culinary experiences and accommodation. The Jordan Trail Association, it's a very small association, but they oversee that. They provide the different information that you can use to book for that. And just to give you an indication of the economic benefit that these trails can bring to local communities, local suppliers. I was talking to a tour operator who uses organises holidays along the Jordan Trail. And I was just meeting him. He'd just been to hand over the cheque for the last season to the communities there. And he said, this is as much as a minister in the government would earn. So, that gives you an indication of how important these experiences are to the community. So really, just to sum up, and this photograph is Jordan. I sent it to my local compatriots, local team in Jordan to get them to check this presentation. And the only comment they had was, are you sure that's Jordan on the last page? I said, well, it was supplied by the Jordan Trail Association, so I hope they do. I'd included it because I thought it might challenge people's perceptions of Jordan as being quite a barren country. You've got to go there at the right time of year. But I think, if I can speak for JTB, they found this a very useful assessment and management tool to do this self-assessment. And it started to give them a framework to start to think about how they can identify the different experiences that they have, the community experiences, to really highlight the ones that bring the most positive impact, and also to guide them in the storytelling that they, as a national tourist board who take very seriously their responsibility to message impactfully and correctly, and they are looking for the community experiences that they feel that they can really promote and give greatest promotion to. So thank you. I hope that gives you a flavour of Jordan.
Thank you, Alison. And please allow me to clarify as well that these particular presentations and experiences are some of course, the very same that you were seeing pass quickly in the brochure this morning. So now we're giving you kind of a little bit again of the back house work that was done in order to put those together. And with that said, I would like to now invite Victor up to the stage. Thank you, Victor, and welcome.
Thank you, Darcy. Thank you, Albert. Thank you, everybody. Bonjour. Good morning, everybody. We are going to welcome you to Lanzarote in a video of 2 minutes. Thank you very much.
The volcanic island of Lanzarote, situated in the Canary Islands, occupies less than 0.2% of Spain's surface, but 41.5% of its territory is subject to various forms of protection. Lanzarote has reached the historic figure of over 3 million visitors to its dramatic landscapes, gorgeous beaches, otherworldly vineyards, and postcard-perfect towns. The cultural values of the local community and the influence of local artist Cesar Manrique have played a crucial role in managing the destination. Notable examples involve the declassification of a significant number of beds and socially accepted practices, such as banning billboards on road signs. Sustainability in Lanzarote emerged back in the 60s, well before the term sustainability became notorious in the industry, with a regulation on the landscape defence. In 1993, the entire island was designed a UNESCO's Biosphere Reserve, and 2 years later, Lanzarote hosted the World Summit on Sustainable Tourism that led to the approval of the Charter for Sustainable Tourism. The entry into the new millennium underscored the necessary balance between nature preservation and tourism development. In 2022, Lanzarote became a signatory of the Glasgow Declaration to position the Lanzarote's tourism sector role on climate change. Additionally, around 100 companies already have the Biosphere Sustainable Guarantee label. The relationship between sustainability and a tourist destination of an insular nature includes challenges such as resource scarcity or pursuing a policy of energy self-sufficiency due to its dependence on the outside world. In recent times, we've experienced how local people stand for reaping the benefits of tourism, while it empowers them to improve their livelihoods. Lanzarote's deep commitment on sustainability combines social awareness with the protection of natural resources to deal with the great challenges facing the world as a whole. You can also feel the Lanzarote effect.
Well, I know everybody wants to go to Lanzarote, not at the same time, please. We have not enough place for everybody at the same time. But along the 24 or 12 months, sometimes we think in Lanzarote that we need 24 months per year to receive the 30,300,000 people, visitors, which we receive in 2024, with a population of 265,000 people. How can we do it? Well, we can do. We are doing this. In numbers, we can have over-tourism data. But when you go to Lanzarote, you can see that there's no tourismophobia movements yet. Why? Because Lanzarote has a plan. Not a government has a plan. Not even the DMO has a plan. Not even Victor Fernandez has a plan. Lanzarote has a plan. As territory before destination, we have a plan built through the stakeholders. The stakeholders of the tourism, and before the stakeholder of the tourism, the stakeholders of the territory. Civil society, academic part, third sector. Everybody is involved in the touristic strategy in Lanzarote. They have been working in sustainable tourism before I was born. I'm not a child. Sometimes yes, but I think I'm not a child. We're working in sustainable tourism for a long time, with the term of sustainable and without the term of sustainable. In 1995, in Jameos del Agua, Lanzarote, it was signed the first global sustainable tourism charter. In the 14th of April of this year, 2025, we have celebrated the 30th anniversary. On the 28th of November, you are invited to Lanzarote to live the sign of the second letter, refunding the principles. In this letter, Green Destinations is important. Green Destinations is not an organization for Lanzarote. We are not in the certification run. It's not important for us. But for us, it's a honor, it's a pleasure to join the GTA, the Good Travel Alliance. Why? Because we have run for a long term a strategy. We are developing nowadays a strategy for 11, 10 years more, approved from the government. But for this, we need action. All those things are confirmed by actions of all the councillors of the government, of all the stakeholders, the industry, all the chain value, the measure channels, the measure markets, tourists, local community. From this, we need order. And GTA for us is order a connection. We can resume what we are doing in all the senses, in the cultural, in the territory connection, with people, with environment, with quality, with the touristic experience, with the value of what the tourist is expecting and what they receive. There's a lot of points, there's a lot of indicators. To get there in a unique framework, to get them in a logical way to explain, GTA is important for Lanzarote. So, I repeat, it's a pleasure and it's a honor to be here as a founding member of GTA. Okay, next steps, concrete steps. We are in an important or a special important project for us, which is called the Escuela Regenerativa Competitiva, Regenerative Competitive School, which is a tool which connects people in a bad situation, in a lot of bad situations, in a vulnerable situation, and connect with employees in the touristic sector. Okay? It's one of the stories that yesterday received one of the stories awards. And we are very happy to share with everybody in order that as is a tool, a public tool, it's a non-profit project, okay? After implementing in Lanzarote, nowadays, in alliance with Red Cross International, we have 8 schools in all over Spain. It's a pleasure to share and that it can be a tool, this school, that in all the countries, in Jordan, in UK, in wherever, can open this school. Is a non-profit project in order to connect people in a disadvantage with our sector. Because the competitive of our sector, the touristic sector, can be built through circular programs, social circular programs at this one. It's one of the projects inside GTA. So I'm not going to extend more in those hours. If somebody wants to stop me and give me money, it's okay, no. But apart from giving me money, we can talk about all the programs and everything you want. Okay, so it's a pleasure. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. I had the pleasure to plant some trees with Victor at the Green Destinations event that was held in June in the city of Natal in Brazil. We didn't plant trees in Natal, but in one of the destinations with which we're working in the state of Rio Grande do Norte. We went out on a post-conference tour, and along with Victor and several other of the conference attendees, we were able to plant a good number of trees, getting our fingers in the dirt, and you see that Victor has his sleeves rolled up, so I think I should do the same. We should plant some trees, definitely. Thank you, Victor. And again, with pleasure to continue working together in this and much more in the GTA. Sophia and I and Elizabeth, Albert, and the others that were in the workshop of the GTA this weekend had the pleasure to be working on some specific projects within destinations, and so I was able to learn much more about Lviv and some of the projects on which Sophia and her team has been working, and it's with pleasure again to invite you up here on stage, Rosa. Thank you. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Darcy. It's a great honor to be here today and to share Lviv's story in the framework of good travel experiences. So let me begin with a few words about our city. Lviv is more than a beautiful heritage city. It's a living community shaped by resilience and creativity. From the very beginning, we joined the Good Travel Alliance and started using practical assessment tools to see under the hood of our tourism offerings. These methods help us measure social, cultural, and environmental indicators and give us clear insights to make better choices. The greatest value of sustainability practices for us lies in applying it during a time of extraordinary instability, marked by war, climate change, and global challenges. Despite this, we continue to follow a clear roadmap for resilience, ensuring that Lviv tourism grows in line with international best practices. And today, I'd like to show you what it looks like in practice. So, with this framework, we identified concrete practices in Lviv that reflect the good travel approach, from accessible route to responsible gastronomy and social recovery. Each of them shows how our values transform into real experiences for both visitors and community. And now I want to focus on one of them, the city hills. This kind of assessment is quite new for us, and it has been a valuable learning process. The sustainability review confirmed what we intuitively felt. The city hills has a profound social and cultural value. We have literally seen how participant spirits lived and how the program helped them to reconnect with the city. At the same time, the assessment also pointed out areas for improvement. For instance, we had not been systematically tracking the program's carbon footprint or collecting structured data. That is why we are now developing dedicated feedbacks form, exploring low-carbon transport options, and identifying ways to strengthen overall management and coordination. In this sense, these methods have provided us with a clear evidence-based framework to transform this insight into concrete actions and long-term improvement. These approaches are no longer just analytical reports. They have become part of our tourism strategy. We moved from identifying strengths and weaknesses to integrating the results into our development strategy, and now we are scaling them into good travel experiences. So yes, now you can see all the measurement tools that we used. And also I wanted to add that with Green Destination, Lviv is turning sustainability into real travel experiences, and we are proud to be a part of this journey. Thank you.
I believe our next speaker likes to walk around with a microphone, or maybe not, but in any case, one thing that I wanted to just to highlight as well is that we're very pleased and honored also to have all the different representatives that are here from the Jordan Tourism Board. Sophia, you and your team, Hannah, I don't know where she is. I think she got a nice photo of you on stage. Holger, we appreciate, of course, all the work that you've been doing with Lviv, and look forward to having our session together this afternoon. And with no further ado, please come on up here. Jazz from Because, I'll let you do your own introduction, and please share with us this exciting news that you're sharing as well today.
Hello? You might have to turn it on. Let's see. Perfect. Hello, everyone, and yes, thank you for giving me the microphone. I do like to walk a bit during my speeches or my presentation. So, we've heard a lot of good stories right before from the different destinations on how they are tracking the different indicators and getting started on identifying the right experiences. But if this truly needs to scale, we need a way for that to happen faster. We need a streamlined approach where anybody can just start doing that right away. No need to develop any system for collection, no need to find out which indicators, but a way where we can actually just get started. And that's exactly what I'm really, really happy here to present today at this forum, how we will be turning sustainability from a compliancy checkbox to a tool for growth. Just shortly about Because and what we do. We are a small tech startup from Copenhagen, Denmark, a city which I'm very, very proud to represent. And our one mission in our company is to make sustainable choices flow. Now, we're not a destination, we're not a marketplace. We don't actually build the experiences. Our job is to give you the technology that you need to identify them in a streamlined manner. We're also not the ones that build the methodology behind what those indicators are. There we have the experts from the Good Travel Alliance that will be developing those indicators. We simply provide you the tech. When we set out this mission, we identified that in order to really scale sustainable adoption, you cannot look at it from a one-sided approach. You cannot just look at it from only a DMO or only an activity provider, an accommodation, a marketplace. You have to look at it as an ecosystem. And that's why this conference here is so great, because all of us are here. So we can actually make decisions as an ecosystem to really thrive and push this forward. Now, how does that play into a tech company that doesn't build the experiences, that cannot really do anything specifically on the sustainable impacts? How do we work with that? Well, the first thing is we built our data hub, because we identified that this data doesn't exist today. There's no way to measure your own experience with another one. So we first need to build a foundation for data. And we've been doing that for many years now. And the foundation needs to be built on connecting the ecosystem to create win-win opportunities, something that works for every stakeholder involved. We need to unlock the power of repurposed data. It doesn't make sense if you're asking the same questions over and over and over again, and you're just sitting getting loaded with sustainability questionnaires or surveys where the only work you're doing is reporting. That's not what sustainability is. It's about measuring what your impact is and then improving. But if 90% of your time is going into reporting, we're never going to get anywhere. So we wanted to unlock the power of repurposed data, which basically means if you're asked a certain question, we can identify through our algorithms other frameworks where that same answer can be reused. Finally, create end-to-end solutions that solve the core problem for each stakeholder. I'm going to give an example here, because what does this mean, solve core problems for the end-to-end consumer? When we first set out to share data on which hotels are certified with Booking.com, the problem wasn't on them getting the data. I mean, there's many certifications in the industry. There's over 80 that we work with. You could send the Excel files, which was what was happening before. The problem was mapping. There was a person at Booking.com who sat and got those Excel files and had to say, this hotel is this hotel in my database, and this hotel is this hotel in my database. Now, just through the resources that it requires, it only happened twice a year. It was a very, very manual process, which doesn't lead to adoption. So what did we do? We built an algorithm which automatically maps the data you have in your database as a booking platform to our database. So now the data is transferred twice a week instead of twice a year, which allows for any activity, any company that is on the journey of sustainability to showcase that in their sales channels instantly. And that's where we need to get to. I'm actually going to skip this slide because I think everyone knows the administrative burden with sustainability, but these are the key areas that we're trying to unlock with our platform. And this is just a little indication of the network that we're growing. We work with, as mentioned, marketplaces here, Booking, Google, and I'm also proud to announce Expedia is also joining. We work with over 40 different marketplaces here. We're looking into new opportunities with different ones in different sectors. We yesterday just announced a partnership with Cvent, so we're also going into business travel. Hotel chains like Accor Group, Radisson Group, Orascom Development in Egypt, Sonesta in the US, and many others are also some of our proud partners who use our system to collect all of their data and then share it wherever it needs to be shared. And obviously we work with, it says 64 here, but that number has grown, 80 different certification providers where they share data on who have they certified to our platform so that they don't have to send Excel files to 40 different marketplaces every single month. So again, we're trying to remove the administrative burden there is with sustainability. This is a little bit about our team and a little glimpse into our data hub. It's not something we're imagining. I really like what Xavier said yesterday in our panel. It's not something we're starting now. It's already live. If any DMO here wishes actually to know how many hotels are certified in their destination, I can tell you, not right now, but if I open up my laptop, I can give you that data. So that question is already being answered. But how far can we take this? And that's what the work that we're doing with Good Travel Alliance. The objective is to give destinations the insights they need to identify good travel experiences. So we're very proud to launch the destination indicator platform that we've been working on with Good Travel Alliance. It was announced at ITB this year, and 6-7 months after, we're welcoming the launch of that platform where you can now go in and use the indicators to identify the good travel experiences as a destination. Our job is to give you, first of all, a certification dashboard, so which businesses in your destination are certified. We're starting here with accommodations, but we will expand on this. Go further to ensuring that the data is flowing to the different structures that you need, reporting frameworks that you need, a self-assessment, and a goal tracking. But most importantly, the indicator platform. If you can collect data in a way where you're able to measure which one is most sustainable, then you can present this data, get the funding that you need from your different governments to build the stories that you want to present to the world. And that's exactly what we're launching here at Good Travel Alliance through our platform. We're not the marketplace. We will connect to the marketplaces so those stories can be shared. And we're not the expert on what those indicators are. That's where we have Good Travel Alliance. But this is a technical tool that will allow you to, tomorrow, start collecting the data on your experiences and see how are they performing to the other experiences so you can identify the good ones and the right ones that you want to promote. Given that we're a startup, we pride ourselves in one main thing is we're a tech company, so we're not, as I've mentioned I think a few times over this panel, we're not the experts on everything. So this journey is built with you. We want to learn from you, we want to know the experiences that you have, what you don't like, what you do like, and how we can get further in this indicator platform together with you. So we had our workshop on Sunday with a few different destinations where we asked them to use the platform and give us the experience that they had with it. And this is just the start of it. Darcy was actually at the Partners Day presenting some slides which had some old screenshots from ITB, so not even that old. And I can already tell you now that most likely at Dubai and at ITB 2026, the platform is going to evolve again there. But that's because we're constantly collecting feedback. So anything, the way you're working today, we want to know this. We want to understand what is stopping you from collecting this data. Is it businesses not wanting to provide it? Is it a tedious burden? And work on solving those challenges once and for all so that we can move to the next part of the journey and really scale sustainable impact around the world. Thank you for listening. I still have 5 minutes left, but I'm going to pass that over to Elizabeth so you can use the time. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, I will introduce myself. Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth. I will be presenting on the good travel experiences. more the methodology. So we've had Albert introduce it very well in the morning, telling us about the what, the why of the Good Travel Alliance, so we know why we're creating it, what reason we started with this idea of the Good Travel Alliance. And then we had the examples of destinations that are working with us, our founding destinations. We had Jazz, who told us a little bit more about data, so the indicators that the indicators that are very, very important in this day and age, because we need actual numbers to see how activities, businesses, destinations are actually working on their sustainability. And now in 5 minutes, I'm going to try and explain to you what we've been doing to evaluate the good travel experiences. So first, what is a good travel experience? I'm sure that that's a question that everyone has been asking themselves. And even for us, it's a little bit difficult to define, but we've tried to really condense it as much as possible. And a good travel experience is a tourism activity that creates benefits not only to the local community, but also to the environment and the culture of the destination. And also, obviously, limiting the climate impact. So that's very briefly what a good travel experience is. For this good travel experience, we have developed good travel scans. And there's different scans because an experience consists of a lot of different entities, different factors, different things that make it up. So we have activities, we have providers, we have trails, we have the businesses, we have maybe even an event like this that we have right now is also an experience that people come to experience. And so this will launch very soon. This is just a screenshot of a website that we're going to have where we're bringing together all of our scans so that different entities can actually do a self-assessment evaluation and understand a little bit more where they are along their sustainability journey and what they need to work on, what they need to improve. This is a little bit more complicated, this diagram. Some of you have already seen it, I think, 3 times, but I'll just try and explain it very briefly and also explain the whole process that we've been going through for the past, I think, 6 months or longer in our idea of developing these good travel experiences. So first we have the definition. What is a good travel experience? What experience do we want to create in a destination? So in Lviv, in Jordan, in Lanzarote, for example. And then we have to evaluate them, because we can't say that an experience is a good travel experience without actually verifying it, making sure that what they're doing is actually benefiting the local community, the environment, the local nature and culture. And so we have the scans, which I showed in the past slides. And so we have these scans, they make these self-assessment scans, and then we make an evaluation call. Because as we know, and as was presented by Professor Xavier, businesses can say that they're sustainable, businesses can self-evaluate themselves and say that they're doing a lot of different things, but we have to check and just make sure that what they're saying is actually the case. And so that's why we get an evaluation by some experts, so we verify them. After they're verified, we give them an award. It's not a certification because we can't certify experiences, we can't certify activities, but we can verify them. We can say that what they've reported on, we've checked, we know that they're doing what they say they're doing, and so they get an award. For destinations and for businesses, we do have a certification because there we have a third-party process. We have an auditor who can go and verify, and we check the documents, etc. And then we have the selling part, so the marketing promotion. If you were here at the plenary presentation, you saw that Beatrice and Darcy showed our Good Travel Experience brochure. This is something that we hope to continue launching. Albert has the ambition of every month. Our team will see how we manage that, but we're really hoping to continue this movement of promoting the good travel experiences that have gone through this whole process, and so really deserve this extra promotion, really deserve to be showcased as experiences that are making a difference in the world, and also then obviously providing to visitors, to tourists, some way of seeing, okay, if I'm traveling to Lviv, if I'm traveling to Jordan, if I'm traveling to Lanzarote, what are the experiences that I can do that I know for sure will be benefiting the local community, will have a minimal impact on the environment. And then obviously we have to maintain this. It's the most important. We can't just say, okay, wonderful, we verified you, congratulations, keep on going with your life. No, we have to keep working with these experiences, making sure that they are upholding what they say they're doing, and also keep promoting them as a good travel experience. These are just some very quick definitions because I use a lot of different terms. So an activity is a standalone tourism activity. An enabler is an organization that enables a good travel experience. And the providers are those that we can actually certify. So restaurants, tour operators, hotels, these are providers. And we do want to make sure that all the providers of a good travel experience have some kind of certification with us. So this is a briefer summary of the other diagram that I was using. So we have the self-assessment scan, the evaluation by the expert, then they have the filling out of the KPIs, which Jazz presented, and then we create a good travel experience from this, and then we promote them on our good travel experience brochure. This is a brochure, if ever you weren't here in the morning. This is how it looks. We will be launching it very soon. We had 74 experiences that were in this first launch, so we're still just checking the grammar and making sure that everything looks pretty before we can officially put it onto our website. So that will be very soon, and we're very excited. And that is my 5 minutes are up, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And the beauty of that presentation with Elizabeth is that she can do it as quickly in English and in Spanish and in French and in Portuguese, and but you only get 5 minutes, so what can we do? Thank you very much, Elizabeth. And please, Albert, last but not least. Yes, okay.
Thank you, Darcy. I'll try to keep it very brief because most of the things about certification have already been addressed in the opening session. People are asking us, how can you certify an activity or an experience? And as Elizabeth said, it's not possible. And in theory, it's possible, but we have to look at the legislation that we are going to be comply with from September next year, which is the Consumer Empowering Directive. Others call it the Green Transition Directive, but it's the same directive, which says that every sustainability label has to be justified by a certification program which is accredited, and it's in this term, which means accredited, which means that a sustainability label and a sustainability program has to be going through at least a 1-year sort of assessment by an accreditation body, which has been the GSC, but the GSC is no longer an accreditation body. The accreditation body is going to be the European Union accreditation system with the national member state accreditation bodies. They are not even ready to enter the tourism space yet because the transition directive has also impact on agricultural claims in relation to sustainability, food, fashion, textiles, and many other things, technology. And they are much bigger or have a much bigger percentage of their industry in certification. Well, this is only 1% in tourism and 0.1% in destination certification and 0% in activities. There's no chance of getting any accreditation for activities or experiences or even experience providers anytime soon. And if we would go for it, it would require a certification body easily 100,000 or 200,000 euros to become accredited. And are you going to do that to certify maybe 1% of the activity market? You will have to ask for thousands of euros to an activity provider to become certified. So we're not going to do that. So we have designed already systems and approaches that do not require certification, but not entirely. Because if you're a large tour operator, if you're a large activity provider with a lot of, say, if you're beyond a small size, then you have to be using verification systems which include the same principles of certification. But we will not use accreditation. We will say this is not a certification of an activity provider. This is a verification of whether the activity provider really understands the principles of impactful travel. I say positive impact in as many of the fields that we can imagine in which the spaces they are active. So if you are an activity provider or a museum or an event organizer, then yes, we ask you to at least do the Good Travel Seal or the Good Travel Scan and that's including an independent verification. If you're already certified by any other, like Green Key, that's also fine. Then you don't need to do another check. And of course, if you are an enabler, like a destination creating a trail, a walking trail, hiking trail, a water trail, then we use indicators to measure the impact of the use of the trail. And that's also not something that you can certify. So the role of certification is going to be very limited and only going to be implemented as far as required by the legislation. But we are not promoting this as a sustainability label. The Good Travel Experience is a recognition for having verified impact to local communities and to the environment and to enabling, sort of empowering local people in the place where you're working. And that's why we chose for the term good. The term good is used for hundreds of thousands of years by people who think that they actually are a source for good in their environment, and they don't have this sustainability claim in a wider sense. And whenever a trail or activity provider is wanting to make a claim, it's going to be about very concrete things. So we will not encourage or not support any claims from activity providers, GTE providers, that saying we are sustainable. They have to focus on really practical things, like people that use this trail leave no litter, leave no waste, have a very, very low minimal carbon impact and a very low water use compared to the general activities in which markets they operate. That's all for now. If you have any questions, later.
Great, thank you, Albert. Please, may I ask all of you to come on up to the stage, and we would certainly love to have a round of questions. In my previous role as professor, I would ask all of you in this room to come closer and to get more centralized, but I'm not here to do that either. So stay where you are, be comfortable, and we will run around in case you would like to take this opportunity to ask some questions as well. We've got mics here for you on the panel, and Elena has a microphone here, and so we'll be happy to walk around. Should you have any questions, please, if you do, yes, we have some hands raised already here. Let's start. Please introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from.
Hi, good morning to all. Is it working?
No. See, it's working.
Okay, great. Arzu Özenen from Bursa Metropolitan Municipality. We have been scanned for our two festivals for the good experience, and we have been informed that we are in the 100 good travel experience list, and it will be announced today on the 13th. Will it be announced, or is there a program like this?
So in the morning we did, let's say, announce the Good Travel Experience brochure, but our technical team is still working from Mexico, working on the final details, and so we hope to have it up, I think tomorrow. Beatriz said tomorrow we would have it on the Good Travel Guide website, so it will be there. And we'll obviously do a LinkedIn post as well. So it will be a PDF document that you can download and use and obviously promote as well for your destinations.
We were able to give a sneak peek at it. It's been in draft form, building as the number of activities were coming in over these last weeks. We were, again, we're very thankful to have had you and your participation along with so many others that are here. Elizabeth and I were actually in the north of France and the southern part of Belgium doing some work with the Ardennes region, and we're able to engage with some of the providers actually there in that region as well. So, this is something that, some of you were involved with already some months ago, and some of the experiences are brand new just from a few weeks ago. So we're busy doing the follow-up calls, making sure that everything is verified, and then asking the team to put everything together, and again making sure that that everything is correct in that way as well. Please, other questions, comments from any of you? Yes, a hand here, just up here in the blue. I think that's you, Clara, isn't it?
Hello, everyone. So I'm Clara from Amadeus. Maybe the question is more for Alison. So you presented different activities that you identify in Jordan. And our question would be, what is the capacity to welcome tourists to participate in those activities? So is it big in terms of people able to attend this type of activities? And because we want to prevent, of course, over-tourism. So what is the potential reach, maybe, of these activities?
On the whole, they vary. The Jordan Trail, obviously, has huge capacity. It's a walking trail that's open. Souk Jarrah is also an open-air market. The others are bookable, so they need to be booked, and when they're full, they'll be at capacity. So yes, most of them are small group activities that do need booking. I mean, at JTB, I don't know if one of you would like to add to that in terms of the capacity for these institutions, but at the moment they need business. There's been the really challenging situation in Jordan. It was COVID first, followed by obviously the impact from the Gaza and the regional situation. So in terms of the context here, I think over-tourism isn't a problem in the north. In terms of, as numbers grow, absolutely it's an issue. But as I say, I think the ones that just have small capacity will remain like that, and will be booked. So if they're booked, hopefully people will book ahead, which is what their businesses need at the moment.
Great, thank you, Alison. And maybe just to contextualize this a little bit as well, because these are only the first of the GTEs that we've identified, working with the GTA experts and others in the regions and destinations with whom we work. And so the idea, of course, will be that we'll be developing numerous of these kinds of experiences within the destinations. Not just a handful. We're presenting here the first handful of some of them on which we've been working, but the next steps will be how can destinations present these, as Elizabeth was saying, giving that definition of experience. When we first started discussing the definition of experience, we were discussing it really more in terms of helping the destination to put together a number of different low-impact type activities that would then be offered as a full package experience, so a one-day experience in a destination. But in the work that we've been doing and the ongoing discussions that we've been having on this, we've realized that each and every activity in and of itself becomes an experience unto itself as well. And so we're understanding better ourselves the definition, the way that you understand it, the way that we understand it from an industry perspective, but also from a traveler perspective. And so this is an ongoing development. And maybe to your question as well, Clara, perhaps directing a question back over to you, Victor. I think it's also always in the way that a destination manages itself as a destination, and Lanzarote, as you're helping us to understand, seems to be doing that despite the fact that it has multiple millions of tourists coming into such a small territory.
Yeah, at the end, how much people do we want? No? Okay. We want as much as can be inside the borders or our regeneration plan, which is our regeneration plan in Lanzarote. The plan in balance, which can cover through the positive impacts, the negative impacts, in order that for the territory, it's better to have this experience ongoing than to don't have it. And we can measure it through X indicators with borders. Indicator, what is, the value it has been to be fixed in this indicator, R, and if, sorry because of my English, I'm from Spain, and I have very bad English. So the answer is, inside borders, which borders? Regeneration plan, balance, positive, negative, positive when Lanzarote is better with this experience ongoing than none, how to measure, indicators, levels, measure, reality. Okay, this is our plan.
Great, thank you, Victor. We have another question over here.
Actually, I just wanted to add to Clara's point, which I find very well placed.
Who are you, young man?
I'm sorry, Iyad Kayali, and I'm from Green Destinations, and I've also worked on the indicators. And yesterday, I was talking to the team from Amadeus, and I'm very, very proud that people like Amadeus are asking about the over-tourism and the impacts, because first of all, this is very important for us, and it completely aligns with us. In terms of the GTE, what we're trying to do here, and this takes me to my experience in Turkey, Greece, and the Middle East and North Africa, is help regenerate and develop destinations that are not suffering from over-tourism. On the contrary, they have so much to offer that they're not showcased. Let's go back 10, 15 years ago when Booking.com did not reach, for example, hotels in rural parts of the country, and they had wonderful places. When Booking.com penetrated and maybe the people around these elderly owners could go on Booking.com and start inputting the information, these places were discovered. We're hoping a bit for the same thing to happen by putting wonderful places. I'm sitting here discussing with remote parts of Jordan, with remote parts of Morocco, and with remote parts of Turkey about the wonderful experiences. So we're trying to get these people showcased first and foremost. And as Alison rightly pointed, you know, with booking and with technology, luckily, we can put limits, and we can give, and this is a very good idea, to give guidelines on these limits for the people who are putting these tours online and telling them about capacities. So I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Super, thank you, Iyad. And Jazz, maybe could you give us a perspective as well on how you see the KPI system that we're developing being used in this destination management perspective for GTEs?
Yeah, sure. So the way I see it is that it's the start of building, in other words, the database that is going to be needed to provide and share those experiences. One thing is it's a start, but the other thing is also streamlining this. Instead of having different destinations measuring it in different ways on different indicators, you finally have something where you can compare it. The job here is to not make the same mistakes we made previously in other industries, where there was multiple frameworks being launched, there's multiple indicators, there's no way of comparing, sharing, distributing the data. We're going to take those experiences to start this journey here on experiences and allow the destinations to easily identify which experiences are good based on benchmarkable data, so that they can quickly see that, and then from there package them onto the different platforms who are willing to take this. But to be completely honest, this is just the start of it. We need to build the database, and from there it will grow. And that's basically how markets work as well, right? You need to give them something that they can feed off of. So this will be the start of that. So we do see this expanding quite a bit in the next couple of years. Does that answer your question?
It does, yeah. And you would be good to talk to this as well, because you're in Copenhagen, unlike I am. But just to to highlight, for those of you who haven't seen this report, I saw a report that came out several months ago about a study that was trying to better manage the travelers in the destination of Copenhagen. And they were what they were doing was through an app whose name you probably remember, I don't. They were able to send travelers not only to the most sought after attractions, but they were able to send travelers throughout the city to much lesser known attractions, along the lines of GTEs, let's say. And they did, in the study, they also showed that the traveler response to that was equally good whether they went to the well-known attraction as to the lesser known other activity.
From Copenhagen, a recent initiative that was also launched, which I was really proud of, not by me, it was by Copenhagen, was they incentivized travelers to use public transport, to use bicycles, and then get discounts at the local cafes, get the national museums, things like this. So there was actually an app built for any traveler coming in. We have a metro directly from the central station to central Copenhagen that takes 10 minutes. Like there's really no reason to take a car or a taxi to get into the central part of Copenhagen. So they were incentivizing the travelers whose maybe normal behavior would be, oh, I'm at an airport, it's probably far outside of the city, let me take a cab. They were incentivizing them to say, it's only 10 minutes, and you get discounts at the local cafes. So these type of stories are exactly what need to be shared through these experiences.
Yes. Well,
just to add one other point to this, I think there's the selling direct to consumer, but what we're seeing certainly, to the work in Jordan, is the growing number of Travel Life certified tour operators, and what they need is a supply chain that they can, also feel is good and brings better impact. So, I think the purpose of this is not only, to sell direct to consumer, but also to, feed that supply chain. And I think it's a very valuable way and quite a straightforward. The basic scans are, straightforward. That has its own challenges to make them applicable in different ways to different types of businesses and also to different regions and the local situation. But as you can see, Elizabeth and the Good Travel Alliance are working very hard to develop those scans to make them simple. But it's a first step, towards enabling businesses across the country. And again, that was the emphasis in Jordan, to really focus on the north of Jordan for all those reasons that it's less visited, and to really be able to bring attention both direct to the consumer, but also to the tour operators locally that are looking to package up itineraries that will take people away from the Golden Triangle, that busy part of the south once tourism comes back. And a lot of work has been done in the current situation to try and address some of the issues that they had of over-tourism in Petra, increasingly in Wadi Rum, in 2019 and 2023, when they had a small window of good trade, and trying to get back, to a position that, going forward, they can showcase other parts of the country.
Super, thank you. Other questions, comments? Yes?
Mahfouz Kishek from Jordan Tourism Board. Thank you everybody for the presentations. Alison, thank you very much. My question to Mr. Ahmed, how can Jordan Tourism Board and Jordan benefit from your applications, beside the hotels and the accommodations and the restaurants? How can we reach the end customers or attract the visitors with your application? Are you guys going to be working on it next year? You mentioned yesterday that you're going to be working on destinations or something like this.
Thank you for that question. I'm just going to clarify. Our platform is not built to attract visitors. We are a B2B platform. What we will do is connect to the visitor attraction websites. For example, I have a conversation going on with Outdoor Active, who will also present later on how they're going to be communicated. But there's a seamless flow that if you use our platform to identify these experiences, that we will have an API, so integration with their system, and just send them these experiences so they can attract the visitors that you need. One company, one system, one tool is not going to solve the challenge end to end. We need partners, we need collaborators who play their role and are experts in their defined fields. we're great at getting data. We're really, really good at that. We excel in that. And our job is to make sure that the data is easily adoptable. Now, to specifically answer your question on how Jordan can use it, I was having a conversation with Alison as well about, in simple terms, the framework and the self-assessment that you've used, we would implement that. We would see how well it's connected with the GTA framework as well. It will either adopt to that or it will be the same one that's developed. And then we'll use that to give you as a destination either on a DMO level or national level. We can have both accounts to see a portfolio of good travel experiences, to see the benchmarks of all the activities from the different providers and identify which ones are right and how do you want to package them. We're not going to develop the experience on our platform, but we'll give you the data that you need to make the decisions that you need to develop those experiences. And then you send it over to the other experts.
Thank you very much.
Can I just also add that it's a reciprocal relationship, and I think the reason that we're in the room today together and been encouraging a conversation is that because to work effectively and because reach is the marketplace, it's done that very powerfully with accommodation through the big players in the marketplace, Booking.com, now Expedia, Google. So it's a fantastic opportunity to really work with those organizations who just sell tourism products, rather than working on a small, having to do that individually, or different businesses or DMOs have to promote them themselves, or tour operators. So it's an opportunity to reach a very big marketplace, but the data has to come in from somewhere. And that's where the relationship with the destination, through destination management organizations, through tourist boards, is really critical. And I think here is a real opportunity through the development of the scans and through the development of the indicators on the data system for the conversation to then go to the tourist boards or to regional authorities to think about what data do we need to collect. What are the KPIs that we as a destination should be starting to focus on? What data should we collect? And think about it in a way that then that the effort of collecting that data can be used to feed into a system that can reach a big marketplace. So on one level you have businesses themselves, you can have individual experiences that can do their scans, they can feed in their data into the system, but then there's the destination level information as well. So I think that's the bit that I'm really interested in exploring more, between yourselves and, Because and GTA. The current indicators, we say it's a work in progress of what goes on to this system. Because is relying on GTA to think about, to work out exactly what those indicators are. But we want to do that with the destinations that we're working with, and it's an opportunity there to shape those international, global indicators. They need to be standardized because they've got to work for everybody. But this is an opportunity from the beginning to help shape those in a way that works for your destinations, and I think that's really critical. Otherwise, you get presented with a set of indicators later on, and you don't have the data. So I think that, to me, is a really key element. There are many, but this is a key element that is the priority at the moment. And I think it's an opportunity for destinations to get involved and appreciate it's a work in progress. It's not a finished one, but it's one that you can help shape.
Super, thank you. Yes, but ladies first, because I think I see that Elizabeth had something she wanted to say.
Yeah, just very, very quickly also, indicators are great and we all think that they're very important, but I know that for businesses and destinations, promotion is very important. That's your question. So I do recommend you to come to the panel that we have after lunch, where we're going to have two very important presentations that tackle more that question of, okay, what about the promotion? Who are we working with? What are our partnerships other than Because that will help promote more good travel experiences? So just a little side note that I recommend that you come, because I think you'll be very interested in what they have to say in the presentations this afternoon.
Okay, and Jazz, a quick word, and then I liked the way that Xavier Font did yesterday. Since we are approaching the top of the hour, what if you say a quick word, and then we pass the microphone again down the row so that everybody can have something to say in closing as well, please.
Perfect. Actually, my closing remark is just, I don't want anyone in this room to feel you're starting from zero. This is not where our job is to remove as many barriers for collecting the data that you have. We're gonna, once we have these one-to-one conversations, we will understand where does the data sit today, is there any data, and get that before you have to go out and collect it. So you really don't have any reason to not do this anymore. There's a system, there's a framework, there's a tool. We just need to get started, and it will evolve and grow as in the next couple of years.
Yes, I think there are many players in making this happen. I think that's, and I think it's been it's an amazing approach. It's a journey that we're all going through in different ways, and it's just very important that we look at each part of it and really have this opportunity to collect small rural community experiences, to give them the confidence to say that they are a good experience. And we've just heard from Xavier this morning how more important that's going to be, regardless of the legislation that comes in, to be able to have a robust way of saying we are a good experience, and to give them that route to market on an international scale.
I would just say join the Good Travel Alliance. Please try out our scans when the website will be available. So keep following us on social media, on LinkedIn, and we're always open to all of your feedback, all of your comments, because that makes our tools even more beneficial to use, and that's the whole point of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that green destinations lead us into sustainability, and through the Good Travel Alliance, we communicate with our community, like with our local entrepreneurs, with businesses, and help them to develop in this field. Thank you.
Well, from Lanzarote, we want to take this gold minute to recognize Lviv Tourism Office, working in a very hard conditions in order to get real this claim that we are in tourism, and tourism is the happiness industry. How from tourism can be regenerate one community, one country, no? So our gold minute is to recognize your work as partners in the GTA, and it's an honor to be here with this huge team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Victor. I think most of you are not here to exactly understand how our methodology works, so I would like to encourage you, just once the website is ready, indeed, do the scans. I can only echo Elizabeth in there. Just see how it works, see how it could benefit you, see how it can help you understand what sustainability in practice means for your destination, for your trails, for your activities, for your assets. Also, in a couple of days, check the Good Travel Guide website. We'll also send you an email on that soon to see some examples. Hopefully it will inspire you also to think which of our experiences and activities and trails could fit in this concept. And finally, most of you will be here to find out how this can help you to transform and improve your destination experience with your business sector, with your activity providers, and how it can bring the visitors that you want. Maybe not just more visitors, but the visitors that you want, the visitors that respect you and spend more money with you and contribute better to your local communities. So we have some exciting news to share in the afternoon, partnerships that we have already concluded with and are going to sign also this afternoon, and some great insights from some very important partners in travel. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again to you, and please let's enjoy the break, have some good lunch, keep the conversations going, and we welcome you to come and talk with us if you'd like to ask a